You are listening to Realign Your Life Podcast, where I discuss with you strategies on how to realign your life and move towards the direction you always want to. I am Vivian, the host of this podcast, and every week I will bring value on how to improve and realign your life either through a guest or my thoughts. I can't wait to share what we have this week. It's time to realign your life. Hello, and thank you for joining me once again on Realign Your Life Podcast. This is Vivian, the host of the show, and I am so excited, humbled, and honored that you are joining me today. Well, you know, I've been on this emotional thing and talking about our emotions, but our emotions are so important as we realign our lives. And so I want to talk about an emotion that oftentimes is hindering us from being the best us that we can be, and it messes with our self-development, our personal development, and our self-esteem. And that emotion is shame. Yes, shame. You know, I love Brene Brown. She talks a lot about shame and guilt. And we're going to talk about guilt in another episode. And she has this book called The Gift of Imperfection. And Brene is a researcher on shame. Yeah, that's how important shame is. There is research being done on it. So I'm not a researcher, but I do, and I have experienced shame. And that's why I want to share with you today. So as we move forward together in this journey, we can support each other. So if I had to title this episode, it would be called Shame, Navigating the Complexity of Self-Reflection. So let's get started. Shame and guilt are intricate emotions that shape our sense of self, and they profoundly impact our lives. While often they are used interchangeably, shame and guilt are very distinct emotions. And that's why I want to address them separately. Now, I'm going to give you a disclaimer. I am not a professional in this, and these are my thoughts and my ideas, but my goal ultimately is to bring on a professional that can help us with these emotions. Okay? All right, let's move on. Shame is an emotion that is deeply ingrained in the human psyche. Shame is a deeply embedded, internalized emotion that revolves around a sense of unworthiness. Have you ever felt unworthy? Well, that's why I'm addressing this, is because I have been there. And, you know, it has been in my younger life, but also at times in my adulthood, I felt a sense of unworthiness. It stems from feelings of embarrassment, humiliation, or the belief that one has fundamentally failed as an individual. It can be a silent tormentor that attacks you and comes up at a moment in a time totally unexpected. Shame is a complex and multifaceted emotion that is capable of wreaking havoc on our self-esteem, on our relationships, and our overall well-being. Shame is often accompanied by an overwhelming and pervasive view of being defective or flawed. in some kind of way. Unlike guilt, which focuses in and is more specific to behavior, shame attacks the core of our identity, making a profoundly painful and isolating experience. Shame can develop or come from a variety and a wide span of sources. It can come from childhood experiences or from societal expectations or even from cultural norms or traumatic experiences. It can come from external forces such as like parental influences. It can come from societal pressures, to be the best, or where am I expected? Should I be living in this kind of home? Or should I be making this kind of money? Or should I have this kind of job? Or should my children be, top athletes or top scholars? So shame can come from all of those sources. Shame can also come from some of our own internal factors, such as our values or our own personal beliefs. Shame can be learned or internalized through experiences of rejection, judgment, or criticism. And this leads to a deep-seated belief that we are inadequate. We can overcome all of that. So shame can have a profound impact, as I stated earlier, on our self-esteem and who we think and value ourselves as individuals. It can hinder our self-development or our personal growth. It can erode our self-esteem, and it can lead to a constant fear of rejection and judgment. Shame often fosters secrecy and avoidance. And that's something that I would like to address in another episode, secrecy and how that can hinder us, just like shame, from seeking support or acknowledging our vulnerabilities. Over time, shame can lead to mental health issues like anxiety, depression, and low self-worth. So how can we break free from shame? Overcoming shame requires self-compassion and courage. It also requires a willingness to challenge those deep, ingrained beliefs that we have. So here are some strategies that you can use to be able to break free from that strong grip of shame. Number one is to cultivate self-compassion. I don't believe this is the first time we've talked about having that self-compassion. Recognize that everybody makes mistakes and faces challenges. Treat yourself with that same kind of kindness and understanding that you would give to anyone else that's going through the same situation. Number two, challenge shame-based beliefs. Identify negative beliefs associated with shame and critically evaluate their validity. You may want to consider seeking professional support and help from therapists or counselors that can help to challenge those beliefs. Number three, share vulnerability. Openly sharing feelings of shame with a trusted friend or individual can be liberating. Connecting with empathetic and understanding individuals will foster a sense of acceptance and belonging. Number 4, practice mindfulness. This is something that a subject that we have talked about over and over, and we've addressed it in previous episodes. If you haven't listened to those episodes, or if you have, I would encourage you to go back and listen again and just piggyback on what mindfulness can do. And so we find here, mindfulness can be a strategy in addressing shame because it keeps us in the moment. And this reduces that rumination of dwelling in the past and thinking about those events that triggers shame. Number 5, reframe those mistakes as opportunities for growth. Instead of viewing failure or mistakes as unworthiness, embrace them as learning experiences that will contribute to your personal growth and to your resilience. And number 6, set realistic expectations for yourself. Release that pressure of setting some of those unrealistic expectations. Embrace the idea that imperfection is part of the human experience. None of us are perfect. The only perfect person that ever was is Jesus himself. We are striving for perfection. So don't be so hard on yourself. So in conclusion, my friend, shame, though a powerful emotion, does not have to define our lives. By understanding its origin, its impact, we can take steps to break free from its grasp and develop a healthier sense of who we are and ourselves, embracing self-compassion, vulnerability, and the willingness to challenge those negative beliefs. We will embark on a journey toward healing and self-acceptance as we realign. I know we can all do it. Remember, we are all imperfect beings, and acknowledging our vulnerabilities is a strength. Recognize it as a strength and not as a weakness. Let us come together and foster a society of empathy, understanding, and acceptance, freeing us all from the clutches of shame. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if there was information included here that you feel that someone else could use, please share it with them, because we're all on this journey together. And when we can address these issues that continue holding us back from being all that we are intended to be, we can realign our lives, and we can be a powerful source in where and what we have called to be. So, my friends, again, thank you for joining me. If you have comments, or if there are other topics that you would love to hear, please reach out to me. I'm excited to hear from you. So until the next episode, peace. I hope you enjoyed this episode. The best gift that you could give me is to share this podcast with family and friends. And don't forget to review it. That way, this podcast will grow organically. If you need to reach out to me, please check out my Facebook page, DM me there, or you can email me at godskow@gmail.com. We have upcoming Bible studies that we would love for you to join us in, or if there is a guest or someone that you would like to see me interview on this podcast, please let me know. We are here to work together to realign our lives. Until the next episode, take care, and I look forward to sharing more and more with you as we realign our lives. Peace until next week.